Hey guys, Evan O'Rourke here, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Japanese laser tank toy. Now, two things to notice when I mentioned or introduced this product is that I said, hey guys, Evan O'Rourke here, which is something I'm glad to remember because, well, it's going to be a little bit tricky after I've had the name Stephen O'Rourke and I've said, hey guys, Stephen O'Rourke here for about, I don't even know, 4 years, maybe 4 years now. And I also said toy because I don't really look at this as a figure, but I'll leave you guys up to decide on what it should be known as in terms of what the product is. But here we have it, the Japanese laser tank. Now this is actually the first Godzilla product I've reviewed that isn't actually a figure of any kaiju of some sort in a while. Because I've had this for a while, similar to a bunch of other toys. I've never really gotten the chance to review it because I've been backed up with reviews to do on Spark Dolls, but all of that seems to be winding down, so I wanted to do a review on this. That being said, let's get into the pros with this figure, and honestly, so far, the main pros I have with this figure is the detail. Now, the detail on this toy is very, very good. That being said, I'd like to simply just flat out explain that the detail is good because of a lot of the things they did to this. First off, you could even see that on the tires, the tiles, and everything really. The way they make it look like a tank is really, really nice. I like the tires; they really are nicely detailed, along with the lines here, and the way like the actual lab equipment that fires off the lasers is built up. All these wires sticking out, and pretty much how this is really just made in general. You could just see like the detail made here and here and here, and all around here, and especially the detail in the laser. You could see like the thing that points to make the laser come out, and so forth. So really, that's honestly what I like about this figure the most. So yeah, let's get on to the next thing I like about this figure. Now, paint job is average for one reason and one reason only. The only reason why you're actually seeing colors on this is because they are stickers. This is also a model, to say the least, because I guess now I take it back. It's not even a toy. Model is the correct way to put it, because they gave you stickers. It's a snap-on model. It's not a glue model because, oh my God, I would fail so badly at those. But that being said, it is a model where you snap on the little separate pieces. It is quite easy. I'm really not good at models and I'm not really fond of doing them, but this was the only model I've made that I've done in maybe an hour, but it was an hour that was, spent a lot of time, working on this with knowing most of the instructions. The instructions were easy, so it took an hour to do it, but within that hour, there was nothing really that difficult. The only thing that's sort of difficult is to snap on some of the, products in the front car where the driver's seat is, but that's nothing really that major. And the stickers you have to be very tricky for because, as you can see, I definitely, had my faults a little bit here and there. But the paint job, there isn't really a proper paint job besides the green that they just simply colored on, and the silver meant for actually the laser. So pretty much that's all they really did with this that made it seem so good, I guess you could say, with the paint job. Well, not good. It's average because they pretty much, you don't even have to worry about paint job. You only have two major colors plus some stickers you have to put on. So let's move on to the next thing about this. So that being said, I honestly feel like the articulation on this is actually average. Average because I feel like the tires move nice and easy. Some of them are a little bit stiff. I'll even get into a reason as to why that is later on. But they are a little bit stiff. And that pretty much, that's pretty much the reasoning behind that. But besides the stiffness a little bit on the tires, you can move this with the actual laser. Not so much, but you can to an extent. And pretty much, yeah, and the articulation here, and definitely around the entire toy, really, it's really noticeable, it's really nice, and it's average as well. So let's get into the cons with this. So that being said, I have two nitpicks for this con, but combined they will bring down the rate a little bit, so they're definitely worth noting. First things first, I would like to point out that the One of the nitpick that I'd like to say is slightly a bigger issue. It's really equal, to be honest, but one a little bit more worth noticing is that the actual articulation with the laser, where you can actually move the laser gun from side to side, is not that easy to move, and I'll tell you why. Because although you might think that the seal is the reason why it's hard to move, that is actually not the main issue, although it does seem to be that the seal has some hard movement. It's because this articulation piece, which of course was a snap-on piece to the model, this one right here, that's pretty much holding the laser tank upwards, which I don't even know if that, I guess that makes sense, because if you have it down, to kind of be sagging down, but this articulation piece right here, and because, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of like a curve articulation piece, it's honestly preventing the laser from moving from side to side. And that's something they should have done, or fixed, I'd like to say, beforehand, because, you know, you want the laser to move from side to side. If you're making a picture or a fan film where this thing is like having its laser this side, to the right or to the left, and there's a figure here and it's firing at it, then it's definitely worth, trying out. But you can't really, because of that articulation, or because of that, model piece. Now, like, it makes makes like a chalkboard squeaky noise every time I move it from side to side. But besides the actual movement of the laser, one thing that definitely is something worth fixing is that the articulate snap-on piece with the front part of the car and the laser part of the car is very loose. Yes, you're supposed to move it from side to side, but it's so loose that if you can actually slightly see, you can move it up and down. You notice that? That's when you realize this thing is like, see? That's when you realize this thing is really, really loose. And I don't know if you can see because it's kind of dark since this part and this part are so close together. But this piece right here, it is very, very loose. Might not look it, but trust me, it is very, very loose. And so I think that's something that I should fault on the way the snap-in piece came with. But I don't know, it could happen to you, it could happen to anybody, but it is worth noting in case it does happen to you. So please be sure to expect that if it, arrives in that kind of shape. In other words, that pretty much is all the cons, all the pros, everything. I'd like to rate this figure an 8.7 out of 10. Like I said, it is a model that is surprisingly not that hard to build. It took me roughly an hour, but the thing is, that's how long it takes to build it, because sometimes it's hard to snap, but the actual idea of the instructions is not hard at all. The instructions are very clear, very simple. It is in Japanese, but they give like illustrations like showing how to snap it on, I believe, that make this thing very much easy, very much easy. Very good vocabulary, folks. Makes it very simple. And so yeah, that's pretty much why I think that this is a very cool model to get. And it's a laser tank. Let's be honest, a lot of fan films I see just use classic tanks, but in the Heisei movies, we saw this a lot in a lot of movies, so it's cool to have this and use in a fan film or a short movie or whatever it may be, so it's cool to have this. So that being said, like I said, I still recommend you get this figure despite it being an 8.7 out of 10. That is still a very, very good rate. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.